The educational program that is followed by Toastmasters International is Pathways. There are 11 pathways, and there is only one Toastmaster in the entire District 92 who has completed all the 11 paths. In our BaatCheet Beyond Small Talk, we have distinguished Toastmaster Sourav Dutta today. Welcome to our BaatCheet.
Thank you.
So Sourav, you must have been introduced in various ways all your life, and now this special introduction of being a path breaker, of completing 11 paths is also included. How does it feel?
So any kind of an accomplishment feels good because it comes with a lot of hard work. It comes with a lot of expectations that you have from yourself and others have from you. But to be very honest, I never realized when this entire 11 path and all these things, how it happened or when it happened. It was not very important for me from the very beginning. So I joined Toastmasters. I mean, no one joins Toastmasters to complete paths. I joined Toastmasters to give speeches. I joined Toastmasters to become a better speaker and a better leader. And I think that would only be possible if I keep walking. And to keep walking, I need to ensure that I'm walking on a path. And hence, pathways happen. So the idea here is that completing 11 paths was never a goal, and I would say it should never be a goal. The goal is to make the most of your Toastmasters journey, learning, and in that process, if you are completing something, if you are achieving a milestone, whether it's one path or two paths or 11 paths, that's an added plus. That's how we see it.
Something that has always intrigued me, I am in my humorous path for the last 2 years and I'm stuck at one point. And all of our paths, they have the initial few levels the same. You have to do your icebreaker, you have to talk about your mentor. And you had to do it 11 times in 11 different ways. So was it never a challenge to talk about yourself 11 times?
That is the opportunity of learning. See, if we are meeting, so I am a soft skills trainer. I have my own edutech startup where I interact with a lot of clients, lot of partners every single day. Now, I don't introduce myself to everyone in the same way. So if I'm talking to a college principal, the way I would introduce myself is different from how I would introduce myself when I'm talking to another trainer, maybe a financial trainer or a technical trainer because of some partnership that I'm looking for. So this 11 different type of introduction is actually the learning opportunity which I had, and that's something which I absolutely loved. I think that's one of the best things about doing 11 paths is that I learned how to introduce myself in 11 different ways. So when I was doing the path on team collaboration, I talked about that aspect of me where how I collaborated with various teams. When I talked about leadership development, I talked about my leadership journey. When I talked about development leadership, I looked at some other aspects of my leadership, more in terms of strategy, more in terms of vision. When I did visionary communication, I talked about my vision in life. When I did engaging humor, I talked about there are 108 bones in my body and I have not a single of them is funny, right? So that's how my entire journey happened, where I actually used this opportunity because there are 11 ways of introducing yourself.
It's a new way that you told me about choosing your icebreaker depending on the path that you are following, and I'm sure all of our viewers will really be enlightened by this. But I'm also curious, how did you choose your first path? And once you chose your first path, like I chose my first path because I thought that was the best suited for me. Then how did you choose your second, and then one more, and then one more?
I didn't choose my first path. Toastmaster chose it for me. There is a quiz which we take where it says that these are the questions you answer, and 9 out of 10 times they will recommend presentation mastery because that's the safest one.
That was mine first.
Yeah, I think 9 out of 10 people would probably say that they are doing presentation mastery. That was their first one. So, and I think it was a very bad choice because I have been into public speaking for a very long time before joining Toastmaster, and presentation mastery was something which was very simple for me. So it was not something that I really found it challenging or something like that. And but after that, I realized that I should not blindly go with what the system says. That you choose this particular path because you answer a certain way, certain kind of questions. Anyone who knows AI and ML would understand that this is nothing but a persona-based classification that they do, and based on the kind of responses they are giving. People who are giving similar kind of responses have taken presentation mastery, so you also take some presentation mastery. So that's based on data that their system will recommend. I think some bit of a human intelligence and should come into this, and your own understanding of how you want to use Toastmasters in your life. Apply the learnings in your life, in your professional life, in your personal life, and for that, pathways is a very important accessory in terms of applying Toastmasters to your life. Right? So when I went to my second path, that time onwards, I started focusing on how I can use pathways and the paths to further my professional and personal goals. So my second path was on leadership development, and I took that up because at that point of time, till that point of time, I had been leading large teams in corporates, and I thought that would be a good way for me to. But I just left my job and I started my own startup at that point of time. So I thought it would be a good way for me to refresh my leadership journey.
And your startup is also on the same.
My startup is also on the same lines, right? So using this particular path, I built my own content for the leadership development part. The third one was team collaboration. Team collaboration again I did because at that point of time I was partnering with a lot of startups, I was partnering with a lot of new businesses. So we were working as a cross-functional team. So that's where team collaboration was something which was very relevant for me. After this, when I came to engaging humor, I took engaging humor as the fourth path because by the time I completed the three paths, I received some 50 evaluations, and in all the 50 evaluations, everyone told me that Sourav, please smile, Sourav, please smile. And I realized that I don't have a funny bone, and I need to do something about it. And that's when someone suggested that why don't you take engaging humor as a path and challenge yourself. And that was one of the best decisions of my life. If I wouldn't have taken engaging humor as the fourth path, then probably I wouldn't have continued in Toastmasters after that. So I think somewhere in the month of March or April I took in 2021. I finished my first path, I think in 90 days or something, 78, 80 days. The second path I think in around 70, 75 days. The third path also, but actually the second and third path I did together. I was doing it parallelly. The fourth path I started in the month of March or April, if I'm not wrong. And that path was engaging humor, and that was a major milestone in my Toastmaster journey. I mean, the best path, I would say. I loved it. So that's how I chose, based on my personal and professional goals, what I bring to the table and what I want to take from here.
So you mentioned you finished your first path in 90 days, and for our viewers, if we take all the 11 paths combined, there are more than 150 projects, close to 175 prepared speeches, and you finished all of it in 4 years. Is there a mantra to this speed, or is there a special motivation that kept you going? Because I know that you've been working alongside as well on similar grounds. You've had other motivational keynote speeches to do, but you kept going at your regular speeches as well.
So if you look, I became a Toastmaster in 2020. 2020 to 2022, the whole world was shut down. We were all doing online meetings and Toastmasters, Zoom meetings everywhere. So at that point of time, I started attending meetings of other clubs. And most clubs have a struggle with speakers. At that point of time, they had a bigger struggle with speakers because a big portion of Toastmasters, they are more used to the in-person meetings. So when we shifted to the online meetings, they found it very daunting, and many of them stopped giving speeches, or the duration of giving speeches, the gap between speeches, the time gap that substantially increased. So a lot of clubs at that point of time were struggling to have speakers. And I would visit all these clubs, and I found that the rosters were empty, and frantically we would get messages saying that I need a speaker slot. I'm sorry, I need a speaker. I need a speaker. Our speakers have dropped, last minute dropouts, etc. So I just use those opportunities. So I have one small strength, I would say, is that I am an ad-lib speaker, which means that I don't write anything down when speaking. So I don't script a speech. And because of that, and that is because I am a keynote speaker. No professional keynote speaker can script a speech. You can prepare for a topic, but you cannot write down a speech and deliver verbatim, because then you cannot be a good keynote speaker. Because you have to adapt to the audience, you have to adapt to the scenarios, you have to adapt yourself to the question, to the receptivity. Are your jokes landing, not landing? Is the audience able to connect with you? All of these things you have to keep. Because I'm an ad-lib speaker, so it becomes easier for me to deliver a speech at short notice. If you tell me by the end of this meeting, you want me to do a project on, say, connect with storytelling, I can do it. I don't need to prepare a speech. Prepare in the sense, not for that particular speech. So you may ask me that then is it actually a prepared speech or is it an impromptu speech? It is a prepared speech because I have learned the fundamentals of that particular project. Let me take the example of connect with storytelling. So when I did this project, I did this project several times. I never scripted that speech. I never knew exactly, there are times when I gave the speech title after the meeting started. Because till then, I did not know what story I will say. Right? So you can say then it is not a prepared speech. It is a prepared speech because I have learned the art of storytelling by doing this particular project. So I know that there are, say, various types of stories, right? For example, there is a rags to riches story, which we call a monomyth, or we have got, in media res, or these kind of stories and so on. So I know the various types of stories that are to be there. That's a part of my preparation. The ability to structure a story, to deliver a message, that is again a preparation. But these are all continuous preparations. There is no specific preparation that I need to do a project on connect with storytelling. And I'm, at the risk of bragging, I'm telling you, if you ask me here that in the next 5 to 7 minutes, tell me a story, do this project, I can do it. And I will probably use the story of us doing this recording, or I will use the story of, one speech I gave, one of my best speeches I consider. You have a two-wheeler?
I have one.
You have one, right? Has it ever happened that you're riding a two-wheeler and you're seeing someone coming from the opposite side and their side stand is on, is down? Did you stop that person and say that side stand, side stand? Has it ever happened that you did the same thing?
Yes.
Right? Very common incident. I was riding for a meeting. I was going somewhere. There was an in-person meeting, and I was supposed to give a speech, and I didn't know what exactly I will tell. And then I saw a person coming in the opposite direction, and I told his side stand was down. I said that side stand, and then I went and I gave a speech. The speech title was side stand. So what I told the story is that I don't know that person. Even if he goes and falls, I don't know. I don't know him. It doesn't matter to me. He doesn't know me. Maybe he is going to meet someone and together they will conspire to kill me. I don't even know that. But do I ask myself these many questions before I tell him side stand, side stand? So humans are by nature good people. See, an unknown stranger who I don't know, maybe he's the worst person in the world. Maybe he's a murderer, maybe he's a rapist, maybe he's a scammer, a fraud. But do we ask ourselves so many questions? Will I tell him side stand, side stand? What if he's not a good person? Right? So, such a simple thing, right? A side stand. Happened to everyone who's been on the road. A speech can come from there. Right? So that is where, that is the part of the continuous preparation.
So I've always been intrigued, okay? Now when we speak about leadership speeches, that may or may not always have a story to it, but most of the other projects will always have a story. Now you are doing 175 speeches, and you are also saying that ad-libs rules your world in a lot many ways. So do you have this story structure where you keep remembering all of your stories? Because even to put it there, you will have to have stories. So do you maintain a diary or you just do a mind map? How do you remember your stories, so many stories of your lives?
I think that's mindfulness. I don't have a diary. I hate writing diaries. I've never written a diary in my life. I don't have a structured mind map and brain map and those kind of things. I do trainings on those things. Ironically, I have never made one myself. I've earned money by telling people to make those mind maps and journaling and all that. But I have never myself done it. So when it comes to that part, I don't practice what I preach. But I think I am very mindful. I'm very observant, and I soak in the experiences of life. Like again, if you look at the side stand story, I think till the time I told you this, it never struck you, right? It happened to you,
True.
but it never struck you. So I think that is something that I've inculcated in myself, to observe something and retain and experience it. For instance, today when I was coming in, I took this gate, right, and these people asked me for the ID card. I said Hilton, and they said okay, sir. So then I understood that if you have to enter EGL, you don't need an ID card. You just need to say Hilton, right?
Smart.
So I will use this as an anecdote for some table topic someday, right? So that presence of mind and mindfulness is what I think that's a part of the
observant
preparation.
is the key.
Observant, retention, mindfulness, presence of mind, being in the moment. So all of this together.
No wonder you could do so many parts also. 11 parts, ad libs, keynotes, motivational speeches, all of your Toastmasters journey that has inspired all of us aside. Has any path or project inspired you professionally as well? Or helped you professionally as well?
So one path that absolutely helped me is engaging humor. I always say that because I am not a very naturally funny person, right? I have a serious challenge with smiling. That's a manufacturing defect, and it's too late to work on that. And I can't crack jokes, and I never thought that I am funny or I can be funny. Now, as I said, my professional speaking journey started in 2010 when I started getting invitations from various summits and conferences to go there and do keynote speeches. Now, mind you, the topics there was always very dry. It was around machine learning and artificial intelligence. I want to talk about data. I'm talking about regression. I'm talking about predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics, and people there are coming to get some gyan from a technical standpoint. I will tell them something which they don't. I will tell them about some application of retail analytics which they don't, as a retail analytics expert. Now, because I have always, because I started off in that kind of a platform where my technical knowledge, my domain knowledge was valued more than my speaking skills, I never had a lot of emphasis on speaking skills. Today, when I am reflecting back, I realized that a lot of times I had a hard conversation with people, and I was rude with them or I was curt with them. I could have handled it better using humor. Now, today I have the ability to deliver a feedback to someone in a way that that person would not feel offended. And I know how to package it in a way so that even if I am telling something that you can do better, you will still smile. And that is the ability that I've developed with engaging humor. That is one path. And if I talk about one project which has helped me, actually there are many projects, to be very honest, but one project is connect with storytelling. Because no matter whatever you're doing, and this is something that I learned at Toastmasters, because outside of Toastmasters, we don't really use storytelling as a very powerful tool. But if you go to most of the summits and conferences, you will see people coming and presenting charts, a room full of 1,000 people or 2,000 people. No one is really looking at the screen, everyone is busy on their mobile. If the speaker is good looking, then at least they look at the speaker. I don't even have that luxury. Right? So in that case, I learned how I can use stories to engage the audience, at least so that they are not browsing on their mobiles, right? And that actually worked. So that if I go back and look at the keynotes that I've done before I became a Toastmaster and after I became a Toastmaster, there is a substantial difference in the kind of stories I've told and how much of stories I've used in my speeches.
You just mentioned that you did your storytelling project multiple times. I will come why later, but I'll tell you my story. Yeah, the first time I was told to repeat a project, it was a project on inspire your audience. And I gave my speech. The evaluator told me that what you've done today is you've motivated the audience very good, but you should repeat because there is a difference between motivation and inspiration. And as a first time Toastmaster, I was heartbroken, shattered that I hate this person, and it took me a lot of time to accept that I will have to repeat a speech, which I did, and now I can do it. But have you ever faced a situation because you are so good and professionally as well, 11 paths, so many projects? Has anybody told you to repeat? And if they did, how did you take it and how did you do it again?
So your evaluator doesn't know this. Your evaluator cannot tell you to repeat. Neither can your VP education tell you to repeat. Nor can the PQD tell you to repeat. Neither can the international president tell you to repeat a project. You are paying for your path. Unless they are paying for it and you have an arrangement where they can tell you to repeat, they can't ask you to repeat. You are paying for your path. You are doing the speech. Whether you will repeat or not is absolutely your decision. I think this is one fundamental correction that all Toastmaster clubs need to do. And this is not what I am saying. It is very clearly mentioned in the Pathways manual that no one can ask you to repeat a project.
I had no idea.
Absolutely. I was misled. My club was misled for a very long time. There was a club where the initial, I will not name the club, it's a pretty well-known club, it's a corporate club. Our AD told us to go and give a speech there saying that that club was his home club. He said that in my club we give redos all the time, and I got 3 redos. I went there and there was the evaluator. He said that I would have given a redo, but I did not give a redo, and etc. And then it felt like God. It sounded like God. Actually, it didn't feel like God. What Toastmasters says is that a VP education approves your level based on whether you have completed the project. If in HPA there are 2 projects, there's 2 speeches. Have you done both the speeches? If you have got sufficient, if you say yes, and he does not have a reason to not believe you, then he will approve it. He has to approve it. He cannot disapprove or not approve a project because he feels that you did not do the speech well, or the evaluator said that you did not do the speech well. This is a big fundamental misunderstanding that we have. Remember, Toastmaster is a self-paced learning. It is not an assessment-based learning. If an evaluator tells me that you did not, if I'm doing a project on leadership, because that will bring a lot of questions up, like open a can of worms, uncomfortable questions. I have 20 years of experience in corporate leadership role, very senior leadership roles. I've been a director of Fortune 500 companies. I'm doing a speech at a club, college club. A kid who has not passed out of college is evaluating my project and telling me that this vision project that you are doing, your vision was not articulated properly. If that's how, and you should redo it, then I will ask, what experience do you even have in vision? Do you even know what is a vision? For you, vision is still looking at the board when you're taking specs. I have built vision for Fortune 500 companies, and you are teaching me. Now, if that sounds rude, then it also sounds rude when he's telling me or she's telling me repeat the project. Remember, we don't have a certification of that. I am not evaluating you because I'm better than you. I'm not evaluating you because I'm an expert. I'm evaluating you because I have agreed to invest 5 to 7 minutes of my time to listen to you without any distraction. evaluate you based on my best ability and provide you the feedback which I feel. It is an opinion. And you cannot give me a call to action or a directive that go repeat the project based on an opinion that you have. We are in a world where we don't even allow the government to do things like this. And here, we individual people are coming and telling each other, go repeat a project for which you paid money. What nonsense.
So whatever
Whatever repeats I have done because I did not feel I did a good job.
And as an evaluator also, you've never told a person that
I initially, yes, because when I was misled that I have that power. But then once I learned, and I learned it in one of the oldest clubs of Toastmasters in United States. There an evaluator told me that, my friend, you cannot tell me to repeat. And then I went back. I have this bad habit of looking for things in black and white. So rules and policies and protocols, right? So I went back and checked and he was right. There are many such myths in Toastmasters which we don't know. Like one more is there, right? In Toastmasters, we are not allowed to talk about sex, religion, and politics.
That has started to change now.
It has started to change now because what has happened is that many of us have started mentioning that who said that Toastmasters?
Yes.
There are faith clubs in US where they only talk about religion. There are pride clubs where they talk about sex. Obviously, we will not come to a Toastmaster meeting and discuss porn. That's understood. Or I will not here and start canvassing for one of the US presidential candidates. But within accepted parameters, this is allowed. Similarly, evaluation also is an opinion, and no evaluator can tell you to do it, to redo it. But you can take a call, and I have taken a call. In many cases, the evaluator said, "Fantastic project. I have no recommendations for you," and then gave me a long list of recommendations, and I have ignored them because that did not make sense to me. And in some cases, the evaluator said, "What a speech, blah blah blah. This was nice, so on and so forth." And I went and I did redo for the simple reason that I wasn't satisfied. See, you are your best evaluator. You know what you wanted to say and what you actually said. How much was the delta? So if you feel if I do the speech one more time, where I will now be saying what I actually wanted to say, do it. I would say a smart guy would always repeat projects because you are paying for 16 projects and you're doing that 32 times, right? So it's like buying one metro ticket and traveling for the whole day. If you have the time and if you want to learn, then you should do it. You should repeat a project. Even if an evaluator says good job, repeat it again.
So, since we just discussed the myths of evaluation that we've strongly supported and believed quite long, do you want to summarize and say what should an evaluator really do?
So the evaluator has to first go through the evaluation resource. In the evaluation resource, if you see, there is a project objective and there is a speech objective. There are two different things. In some cases, the speech objective is the project objective, but not in all cases.
Right.
That is something also that many evaluators don't understand. So what they say is that, for example, introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. So the project objective is that you will have to experience Toastmasters mentoring. The speech objective is you will have to share an experience about you being a prodigy. So these two are very different. The evaluator has to understand that. Second, the evaluator has to say whether, according to the evaluator, again I repeat, according to the evaluator, the speaker has met the project objectives or not. Third, the evaluator has to explain why he or she feels that the speaker has met the project objective or did not meet the project objective, and what can he or she do to meet the project objective, or if they have met the project objective, what can they do to take it to the next level. The evaluator can also say that because you did not meet the project objective, I recommend you do this project once more. But the evaluator is not my boss. He cannot tell me to go and redo. No. But he can always say that this is my recommendation. Evaluation, I'm not saying this. Dr. Ralph C. Smedley's quote is there, where he says that evaluation and mentorship are the two cornerstones of Toastmasters. Unfortunately, evaluations are not taken that seriously. Most evaluators don't even look at page 3. Most don't even know there is a page 3. What is the right way of doing the evaluation? You need to go through the page 3, then mark page 2, then come to page 1. Now you tell me, how many times have you marked page 2? I would say very rarely. I know. And it's not you alone, even me also now. 99% of evaluators don't mark the second page, the numerical parameters. But your recommendations on page 1 has to be based on the numerical observations on page 2. It is the other way around. Right? So these are some of the things that the evaluators have to do in pathways.
Talking of mentorship, and Rajashi's medley of course comes in our discussions whenever we speak about. I remember you discussing it with me or in one of your sessions that you are self-mentored and you mentor yourself. So I wanted to really know 11 paths, so many projects. You must have had some mentor at some point, or what did you say in your mentorship projects there?
So that is one project where I did very bad most of the times, because at least for the initial 3-4 paths, because my understanding of mentorship was extremely limited, like most of us. I also, thought that mentor has to be one glorified person, someone, a sage on the stage, kind of someone, some celebrity Toastmaster. And that's how I looked at mentorship. And yes, in that sense, I never had a mentor, I would say. But I have a bunch of mentors. I realized that later. Because who is a mentor? A mentor is someone who will give you a nudge, who will give you a push, who will hold you when you're falling down, right? And when I look around me, there are so many people who are doing that for me. In my Toastmasters journey, in my pathways journey, in my journey as a district officer, I've had the support of a lot of people who have guided me for that particular moment or that particular problem. Help me solve that, overcome that challenge, whatever it is. My mentees are my mentors. Aparna, Nancy, Lakshmi. These are all brilliant speakers, and each of them are my mentees, and each of them are my mentors. And they tell me, when I finish a speech and when I'm doing a speech and I'm not doing it well, I get a message from Aparna saying that, hey, you could have done this differently. Or Nancy would send a message saying that, watch out for this pronunciation. A lot of the pronunciations I got rectified thanks to Nancy, and there was one more Toastmaster.
A typical Bengali dialect.
Yeah, a typical Bengali dialect. A lot of them told me, like for example, I used to pronounce CABIN as cabin. It's cabin, right? And like that I had such very silly mistakes at that one, and people corrected it. So that's how. So the entire ecosystem is a mentor for me. So I would not say that I had one single mentor. I have so many mentors that I have lost count of them. And once I realized that, then this project Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring became very easy for me. Then I would talk about one aspect of mentorship that I experienced during the course of this first 2 levels of this particular path, and who influenced that. So for one project it could be Aparna, for one project it could be Nancy, for one project it could be Johan, for one project it could be Lakshmi, and that's how I kind of look upon mentorship now.
We spoke about mentorship project, we spoke about icebreaker, elective projects is my next question. So there are these beautiful elective projects, and many of the elective projects are the same across paths. So now that you've done so many electives, have you finished all of them, or there are still a few pending that you want to take up next?
There are 2 electives pending which I don't want to take up. One is podcasting and the other one is vlogs. These 2 I did not do because I'm not interested in podcasts and vlogs. It's ironical I'm sitting here and telling you this, but it is what it is. So these are the 2 electives I have not done, and I will not do. I'm not too interested in that. But apart from that, all the electives I have done.
So when you were choosing your electives, now again, as I said, the electives can be the same across 2 or 3 paths as well, and level 4 or level 5 will tell you 2 electives or 1 elective mandatorily that you have to do. How do you choose your electives as well?
Whichever is most useful. As I said, the maximum number of times I've done is, I think, handling a difficult audience and connect with storytelling. Connect with storytelling because I have a direct professional application for this. Handling a difficult audience also have a professional application for this. I have not I've not done that so many times. This one, prepared to speak professionally, 18 to 22 minutes, because I think
That's
for
what you
someone,
do.
that's what I do, right? So if for someone who regularly does speeches for 1 hour, 2 hours duration, doing an 18 to 22 minute speech is like cutting the corner. So wherever I felt that it is a bit easier for me, or where I felt that it is unnecessary for me, I have not done that. But whatever I saw that, and I think that's the best thing that we should do to keep ourselves motivated about pathways, is that choose electives which you can use at your workplace. There is no point in choosing electives which you cannot use at your work or professionally or personally, unless that's a new skill that you're trying to. Now, if someone is not into blogging but wants to develop blogging as a skill, then that's a beautiful project, because this gives you an audience, this gives you a purpose, this gives you a leadership, right? But someone like me, who's not at all interested in blogging, will never do blogging, doesn't want to do blogging, and that's a personal choice, right? Some of us don't want to do coding, some of us don't want to do blogging. So that's how we are. So for us, it is not required. But if you're wanting to develop a new skill, then this is a perfect way. For example, there is an elective called leading a volunteer organization.
Yes.
Now you realize that I've never led a volunteer organization, right? Now, when you're doing this project, you have an inspiration, you have a reason to actually join a volunteer organization, play a leadership role there, and then come back and do the project. Now you're getting an additional motivation, right? Otherwise, why will I waste my time? And there are so many volunteer organizations. You can work for animal rights, you can go and work for the lakes in Bangalore, you can work for the roads, for cleanliness, for hygiene. I mean, see, if you seriously want to do something for the society, there is something or the other that's happening right around you. You just need to go and do it.
So many electives done, checked. If you had to choose your favorite and not storytelling, because we've heard about it, which one would you choose? Which left a personal impact on you?
Which left a personal impact on me.
I remember this emotional intelligence project where I had to journal for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, which was particularly difficult for me. So I remember that always.
I remember that also for the same reason, because as I said, journaling, blogging, this is not my cup of tea. So I remember that was one project I absolutely hated to do, and I had to do. So because I was anyways not doing blogging and this other one. I think then it would be handling a difficult audience. I think that was
Where they interrupt you.
where they interrupt you, where you have to deal with there is a chatterer in the audience, there's a disruptor, and doing it at the Gabbies is real tough. There are people who have actually broken down while doing this project at the Gabbies, because we take it to a different level altogether. So you will suddenly be muted. You are speaking and you'll be muted, and then people have cross conversation. People who are disrupting you are mostly great speakers themselves. So imagine I'm giving a speech and Aparna and Joan start having a dialogue between themselves, and it's so difficult. And both of these are very powerful speakers. So for you to get the stage back, it's not easy. So that's why the Gabbies, doing it at the Gabbies is a real challenge. And a lot of people, interestingly, a lot of our guests, when they come and this project is happening, they come back and request us, can I also do the project here? And many of them have actually completed the project already, but they still want to do it because it's a real test of your mettle.
And you could keep your calm and do this?
No, I could not. There was one time where actually I lost my calm. I lost my cool. I got message from several members saying that, hey, all okay. What's up? Why are you so angry? And that day literally I was rude. I mean, I was rude to the point of, I think I told someone that if you are not getting it, that's your problem. I can only work on your information. I can only work on the information, not on your intelligence. Something on those lines I said, and I was extremely rude that day. I lost my cool. And that's why I loved that project. That made a great impact on my life. I've changed as a person because of that.
Talking of difficult audience, and I will tell you my impression whenever I thought of you or whenever I first saw you online, I always thought that you are unbeatable and I will have to learn from you or see what can be done or take inspiration from you. But I also think that it's been 4 years and I know you for 4 years. And I would want to know, have you ever felt challenged in your 4 years with your public speaking, even though you do it professionally as well and in Toastmasters? Was there any moment of self doubt or a challenge?
So initially, no. When I joined Toastmasters, I don't even know why I joined. I mean, I know why I joined Toastmasters. I joined because a friend told me to join, and it was just a prank and something funny we were doing. We were never serious about Toastmasters. Uh, and I remember the first contest when it happened. Then it was the evaluation and the evaluation speech and table topics contest. And I told my club that I'm the best speaker of the club. So do you really want to do a contest or you want to just nominate me because I am going to go in maybe a contest any which way?
You said that.
I said that. So Nancy was the president, and Nancy very beautifully told me that so since you will anyways win, so let's do a contest. What's the harm? So we did the contest. I think in one I came fifth, in the other one I came sixth, because there were only 5 and 6 participants in that contest, and that is the biggest challenge I faced because I've been, my mom was in defense, and not only she was in defense, she was with the agencies.
Oh, wow.
So a very strong woman. We have seen it all. We have seen attacks. We have seen actual attacks. My mom has been posted in most of the terrorist infested belts, so most of the time in Kashmir, in Northeast, Orissa, in the Naxal areas, Andhra in the Naxal areas. So, and at that point of time, we obviously did not know what she does. I still don't know what she did exactly, but I know that she was somewhere with the agencies. And she would give me some random response. And when people in the services, they give you a random response about their work, then you should know that you should not ask any more questions.
Oh wow, this is like the movies.
Yeah. So being raised by a woman like that has its own perks and has its own disadvantages also. So the perks was that I have been raised very strong. It's very difficult to break me. No matter whatever happens with me, or no matter whatever people do with me, it's very difficult to break me. The disadvantage is that I have never learned until 2020 and didn't know how to lose. I'm very bad at losing. If I lose, I feel that either the world is pathetic, or even worse, even that is still acceptable. When we all get angry with the people around us. But in my case, I get mad with myself. I start hating myself, and to the point that I can slap myself, I can kick myself, kind of a feeling. That's what I get. Not only feeling, I would punch my fist on the wall for a very small thing also. Now, when this thing happened, that was the first time I understood that I can fail, and I dealt with it very badly. I accused everyone, on all my friends, that you conspired against me, you did this, you put a chief judge who wanted to defeat me, and this and that. For not 1 second, I asked myself, sort of, probably you were not good enough. Now that is something which I learned in Toastmasters. Not even the first contest. After the first contest, I was convinced that it was a grand conspiracy. Then I contested again. This time it was the humorous speech and I think it was humorous speech and international speech contest. And same result again. International speech contest. I did something. I was sure I'm going to win, and again, I think I didn't come in the top 3. Then some kind soul told me that the best way to get out of this repeated defeats in contest is to become a district officer. So that gives you a graceful exit, because luckily in the contest rule book they say that district officers can't contest. So, and that's how I became a district officer. I left contesting. Now, by that time I finished, I think, around 6-7 parts or 8 parts. There was a Zoom bomber who came into one of our meetings, and there are many people who love me, and there are quite a few people who hate me as well. This person was clearly a hater. He or she came and asked a question on chat that
Draco. No, what, something like that.
Draco,
right?
or something.
I
like
remember
that.
him visiting all the Zooms.
Yeah, but this was a personal attack on me, because this person came and said, obviously this person knew me very well, Because this person came and asked this question that I want to ask a question. This was on chat, remember?
Personal chat.
No,
Zoom.
no.
Everybody.
Everyone chat. So everyone was seeing it, and there was, and Gabby's has a very good attendance. Almost 40 to 50 people in most of our meetings we have. They said that I want to ask a question. How is it possible that someone does so many projects and paths like you and learns nothing? How can you be so pathetic after you have completed so many paths? That was, and a couple of other incidents happened which left me utterly demotivated. That why am I even doing all this nonsense? First pay for Toastmaster membership, then pay for path. Why am I doing this? Why do I really need to do this? And there was a long period where I did not do any speeches. No speech, no nothing. I just left it. And I think that was probably the tipping point. I would have probably left after that. Then, as luck would have it, we had some serious challenges in our club, and I had to focus on fixing that. And part of that was me leading from the front. So again, I had to come back on the stage to inspire other people, because if I gave speeches, others also in my club get inspired. And that's how again I came back in the fold. That was a very challenging period, and where personally as a club, I was going through a lot, and in fact professionally also in my job space, in my work space also, there was a lot of things that was going sideways. So all of the mess happened together. So that was one period, somewhere I think around 2022, 23 period where it happened.
And from that, now you are back to contesting Division B Winner International Speech Contest.
Something must have gone wrong, which it was ultimately fixed at the district contest.
So in this entire stride of yours and journey, raised by a strong mom, raised strong, spoke strong, but in these 4 years of self-learning, unlearning, has your impression about yourself changed and for the better?
Yes, I have an immense sense of gratitude now in Toastmasters. Thanks to Toastmasters. See, you and I are having this conversation. You are a division contest winner in evaluation speech contest. I am a division contest winner in international speech contest. We are both reasonably good speakers. I mean, at the risk of not being modest, let's accept that we are reasonably good speakers. We take it very casually. We take it very lightly. When I came into Toastmasters, and Gabby's is a club which has got some brilliant speakers. I think we have at the maximum number of contest winners at the division level in the last 4 years, ever since we have come
Yes.
up in existence. And even someone like Aparna will also, he always says that winning at Gabby's is more difficult than winning at the area level and division level. So I've always seen, brilliant speakers around me for the past 1 year and so. But when we started opening up, when we started going to other clubs, it opened a world for me which I never knew it existed, where people are struggling to speak. And the pain I see in them, not being able to, people are stammering or stuttering, they are making their best effort to express just one line properly. They're not even completing a 30 seconds in table topic, and out of shame, or they're switching off their cameras, they're leaving the meeting. That's when I realized how privileged I am, how blessed I am, and how blessed you are, that we can express ourselves as much as we want, freely. On one side are these people who are psychologically so challenged. On the other side, there are people who are clinically challenged also. When I was the division director of Division B, I started one initiative, the Division B Table Topic Marathon.
Yes.
One day, it was 8 o'clock, Saturday, 8 o'clock we used to start that. One day around 10:15 India time, one person joined our meeting. Our overall demeanor and everything looked a little weird to me. Something was not right, room was not well lit, and the way she was sitting and all of that. And we are always a little wary of Zoom members. So I thought that, who is this person? Then someone in the room, he told me that, Saurav, that is Dina. You give her topic on the chat and she will respond on the chat. I'm like, if someone has joined the table topic marathon, why would they give the response on chat? It's a table topic. And then slowly I realized that she has Down syndrome. Today, Dina attends at least, we have got 3 meetings every week in the Gary's, like 3 different clubs. We have 12 meetings in a month. Dina attends 6 to 8 meetings every month of the Gary's. Every meeting she comes and attempts a table topic. We give her a topic on chat. Then we, she gives the answer on chat. And she's not satisfied, by the way. She wants someone to also read the topic that she has written in the chat. Okay. And if that is not enough, she so in the division week, the table topic mandate survey happened. So I had given the topic, I think, that complete this story. It was night, it was raining, thunderstorms outside, and I complete this. And she wrote something, and someone else read that out, and she was not happy. So she unmuted herself, and she can't express very clearly, right? So she started shouting something, telling us that she is not happy with the way it was read.
Oh.
Then I read out this. It was raining outside.
Wow.
And I went down, tiptoe, and I saw that white figure. Like that, I kept on saying, and she started laughing and howling and thank you and all that. She started saying, it's not easy to understand her, but she was expressing herself. Nina has been a Toastmaster for 30 years. 30 years. 54 years. She celebrated her 54th birthday at the Gary's. And when I look at her, I just thank God that this sense of gratitude comes in, that I am so lucky that I don't have this pain, and I realize how. And she has had a very tough life because she can't express herself. So she publicly told in a speech, she did her icebreaker speech. She's not a member, by the way. She's a guest. But she gave her icebreaker speech where she talked about her life's traumas and all, and it will actually bring tears to anyone's ears, the kind of life she had led. So that's another thing. I'm very proud of my club, not because we have got a lot of good speakers and champions and all. I am very proud of my club because if you go back and check our video recordings, you will see speeches where people have talked about broken marriages, broken relationships, sexual abuse, child abuse, moments when they wanted to die. These are real stories by real people on the camera. And I feel so proud that we have built a space where people can come and share their deepest and the darkest secrets. But at the same time, I also feel that this is where we draw inspiration from. So overall, it's a very humbling moment for me, this entire Toastmasters journey. So I think it's way more profound than we understand. I mean, the contest, the coronation, the elections, this report, that report, this dashboard, that dashboard, DCP points. It's much bigger than this. We are liberating people. When someone who stammers, and not little bit, acutely stammers, takes up a role like a T mode or a G, you have no idea the kind of confidence you're giving that person.
There are moments in life where even a chatterbox like me would stop, think, and think again. And when we started our BaatCheet Beyond Small Talk, we never realized that this is going to be that moment, and this is where I actually am wordless. So this is how our episode has been. While we end this episode, any parting thoughts that you have for all of us?
So we know that this entire LMS is going to change. new projects will come in. There's already an email which has come in to people who are currently on level 1 and they have not completed level 1, saying that the research and presentation, that project is not going to be in level 1. There will be a few changes that will happen. There are some more changes that will also happen eventually. We all know that there are some paths that are getting dropped. When we moved from the legacy system to the pathways, there was a lot of resistance. I remember we have a Facebook group, international official Toastmasters group, where people would come and rant about pathways not being effective and this and that. And my point is that these things will happen. The pathways will change, new paths will come in, the structure will change, the projects will change. It is important to understand the essence of why we are doing pathways. I think this is something that I want everyone to understand, that pathways is it's like a guiding light for you. See, at a very basic level, understand that the construct is what? 10-15 people coming together once in a week for 2 hours, sitting and talking about something. That's all we do.
Yes.
And we even pay money for that. Right? So why do we pay money for that? Because we need to keep it in a, we need to sustain this. How can we sustain this? If after every meeting you see you're slightly growing, only then you will come for the next meeting. And that is what Pathways does. Because it gives a construct to this entire arrangement of self-learning through peer assistance. So we are a peer assistant learning program, self-paced, self-learning method, right? So there it can easily go ahead. And there's enough statistics which shows that self-paced learning is easier said than done. If you look at the traditional education dropout rates versus the MOOC, like say a Coursera or a Khan Academy kind of thing, or Simply Learn, you'll see these have got much higher dropout rates, because self-learning and self-paced learning, peer-assisted learning is not easy. It's easier said than done. That is where Pathways comes in handy. But Pathways or any LMS cannot work in isolation. You need to have a full ecosystem to support it. Like, you need to have mentors, you need to have evaluations, serious evaluations done. And I would say let's focus on the right things. I have completed so many paths, or I have completed so many triple crowns, so I am some big shot, I want to prove this. Some people are on race against time, some people are racing against each other. He completed a path in 90 days, let me complete it in 90 minutes. It does not make any sense eventually. Are you enjoying the journey? If you're not enjoying the journey, better you don't waste your money and time here. Do something where you're enjoying. And that is important here. And the other thing is that there has to be an inclusive growth. One of the best things, I know people who have completed 11 paths, they have got a properly maintained Excel sheet where they have gone to this club and given this speech and that speech. Why I consider my journey to be different is that I have not grown alone. I have grown along with a lot of people. I have mentored district officers, I have mentored club officers, I have started clubs, I have sponsored members, I have introduced them to Toastmasters, I have mentored contest champions. All of this happened. Along with that, the path is happened. If I am only focusing on path completion, you can complete 11 paths in 1 month. If you don't have a structural or a clinical or a psychological issue in terms of speaking, if you are an ad-lib speaker, if you have been doing professional speaking for 10 years, you can complete 11 paths in 30 days. But that would be as useless as anything that you do, because you're learning nothing and you're contributing nothing back, giving back nothing. So that is pointless. So just don't run behind completing the paths. Enjoy the journey, take people along, make them grow, and then you will get the best utilization of this.
Thank you, Sourav. I for sure had a very fruitful, happy discussion today. Thank you so much for coming to our BaatCheet Beyond Small Talk.
Thank you so much.
In conversation with the one and only person in District 92 who has completed all 11 paths. I hope all of you liked our episode of BaatCheet Beyond Small Talk, where we discuss the comfortable and uncomfortable. If you liked our episode and initiative, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Do visit us at District 92, where leaders are made.